Good afternoon, YouTube. This is Richard Field coming to you from sunny South Florida. A few minutes ago, I made a video on the rapid feeder, and it occurred to me that A, I needed to say a few more things about it, and B, and more importantly, I needed to talk about the frame that it went into. Rapid feeders, a lot of different people have gotten in the market. There are rapid feeders that the tube extends down below the bottom of the flat part, and there are ones like this one where it is flush. The earliest ones all had a tube extending down with the idea that they would center on the hole better that you were going to set them on for the bees to access them. Then some other people started doing them this way. As a result, when I first got rapid feeders, I was doing this to my regular inner covers, taking the normal shape and drifting it out a little bit so that the tube could fit down in there. And then I would just take an empty super, put it on there like that, and put the feeder in here like this. Of course, that uses up an awful lot of available supers, and didn't take long for me to start making feeder shims. In this case, this feeder shim is what's basically referred to as a Vivaldi board. This is just my variation on it. They come in many different variations. It's a 3-inch shim with a hole in the center, of course, for the feeder. 2 vented holes on the underside in case the bees want more ventilation. 2 holes, screened holes in the sides for ventilation. And as you can see here and on every cover I have and I've ever put on a hive, they have immediately propulsed up these little ventilation holes. Now on occasion, they have gone in on a hot summer's day and they've removed a little bit of the propolis to get a little bit of air ventilation there. But only on the very hot days. Most of the time, it turns out they really didn't want all that extra ventilation coming out the top. But on I'm going to say the rapid feeder goes into the Vivaldi board, and that serves as your inner cover. Your telescoping cover goes on top of this. But let's say a couple more things that I did not think to mention about the rapid feeder. I did mention how nicely you can clean them in the dishwasher. I rarely bother to scrape off the wax that's in this portion because that just gives them more grip. What I really want to talk about is some of the knockoffs. Some of the knockoffs of this version don't have enough roughness. They don't have enough roughness on the inner cover for the bees to hold on to. And if that happens, and this is on there, the first bees going down to get the liquid are fine, but then there's a press of more bees behind them, and the push shoves the bees down into the liquid and they drowned. The problem sometimes with ordering these is that a company will have a good batch of them, you buy them. 6 months later, you decide you want to get some more, you order again, the company thinks that they have bought from a reputable source, and they transship them to you, and you get a knockoff. One of the common things is that the lid will be too short and literally sits on top of here, and the bees can't even access the water. Others, the lid is not snug enough when it's down here and can get lifted up by the mass of bees pushing, and they can get out into the syrup and drowned. There are hacks to get around all of this. Thankfully, I've had the experience of always getting good ones myself, so I've never had to do any hacks. But if you look on YouTube, you will find plenty of hacks for correcting problems with some of the off-brand rapid feeders. This is all I can really say about them. I have no personal experience with having to correct them. except for the fact that I did get some small square feeders meant for nukes, and they were too smooth. If I can walk over this way. These are terrific because they fit inside a standard nuke, but this did not have nearly enough serration on it. This didn't have nearly enough serration on it, but the hack was simple. I simply took a bunch of propolis and mashed it hard up into the plastic to make basically a climbing wall for them, and that resolved the issue just fine. These actually snapped down very firmly. I have no complaint about that. It was just that they were too slippery, but it was an easy fix.
So you only use these for syrup?
Yeah, it's not likely that you're hopefully not going to have nukes sitting around so long that you have to feed them dry sugar. But if you did, it would work just fine. But usually you're just putting it on them for a couple of weeks to give them a good head start. And that's usually just going to be 1-to-1 syrup. And that brings us to the end of another short beekeeping tip video. Make yourself a Vivaldi board, which is nothing more than a piece of 1/8" Luan mahogany bottom with a 1x3, which is actually it's actually 2 3/4 high. A couple little pieces of screen, and you're in business. That's all from South Florida for now, YouTube. Have a great day.